Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if Elon Musk is actually right and AI makes money, well, totally obsolete? We're going to dive into this really radical prophecy today that kicks off with that exact idea, but it ends with a whole new kind of currency for humanity. And get this, it's one you can't earn, you can't save, and you definitely can't spend like you do with cash. All right, let's get right into it. The whole thing kicks off with a prediction from Elon Musk that you've probably heard about. He's talking about a future completely flipped upside down by AI. In fact, he said you can basically stop worrying about your retirement fund. Why? Because according to him, AI is about to change, well, pretty much everything. Okay, so what's Musk's vision exactly? In a nutshell, he thinks that by 2029, and yeah, that's just around the corner, AI is going to boost productivity so much that everything, and I mean everything, becomes ridiculously cheap. He's calling it an era of universal high income. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. It could mean the money in your bank account becomes, well, pretty much worthless. Now, that idea, as wild as it sounds, brings up a really big question. I mean, if money isn't what defines your status or what you can get in life, then what does? And this is exactly where the story we're looking at today takes a sharp turn away from the usual tech bro predictions and gives us a completely different and honestly a much deeper answer. So, according to the source we're digging into, value itself isn't going to vanish. Nope, it's going to be completely redefined. So, forget about dollars or crypto or any of that. A brand new and maybe a more meaningful way of measuring value is supposedly coming to take its place. And right at the core of this new system is a Korean concept called Jilliang. Now, there's no perfect one-to-one translation in English, but here's the best way to think about it. It's the total quality and sheer mass of your personal contribution to society and to humanity as a whole. It has nothing to do with what you own, it's all about the good you do. That is your Jilliang. So you're probably wondering, how would this actually work in real life? Well, your Jilliang would literally determine your access to everything. If you have a high Jilliang, meaning you're contributing a lot, you might get access to awesome tools like flying cars or even personal assistants to help you out. But on the flip side, a lower Jilliang would mean fewer resources and a lot less support. So here's the key takeaway, the absolute crucial point. Your personal value and all the perks that come with it would have nothing to do with how much money you've piled up. Instead, it's tied directly to the quality and the impact of what you do for other people. It's a total flip of the script, from what do you have to what do you give. But hold on, because the theory doesn't stop there. It gets way deeper. We're moving from just a new system of value into what is essentially a full-blown prophecy. The speaker lays out this pretty radical idea that two very specific groups of people, described as brothers, are being cultivated, let's say, to lead humanity into this new age. And this is where we get to the heart of the prophecy. The speaker breaks it down into two distinct roles. On one side, you have the Jewish people, who are described as the brilliant managers of the physical world, running the economy, developing technology and science. And on the other side, you have the Korean people, called Chonsun, which means descendants of heaven. And their destiny, according to this, is to provide the spiritual wisdom that will guide everybody. Now, it's really important to get this next part. The speaker says this is not a hierarchy. It's a partnership, a symbiotic relationship. All the amazing progress in technology and the economy managed by one group absolutely requires the deep spiritual guidance of the other. It's like one group is building this incredible engine, but the other group is providing the map and telling everyone where we're all supposed to go. Okay, so this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? If these two groups are meant to lead together, but they're sort of separate, how do they find each other? And this leads us to the most poetic, almost mythological part of this whole prophecy, the search. So, according to this view, the Jewish people have been on this symbolic search for literally thousands of years. The speaker argues that this whole journey is baked right into their national identity and that they've been waiting all this time for a very specific sign to show them the way. And that sign? Well, according to this interpretation, it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. The speaker points to the star on the Israeli flag and says it's not just a symbol of their history. No, it's actually a kind of map, pointing them towards the very thing they've been looking for. But here's a really crucial detail. They're not just looking for any star. They're searching for a shining star, a real source of light and guidance. And the speaker points out that the star on their flag, well, it's just an outline. It doesn't actually shine by itself. It's almost like a placeholder for the real thing they're destined to find. And this
This is the real climax of the prophecy. That shining star they've been searching for, it isn't a star in the sky. It's the collective, awakened wisdom of the Korean people, the Chonsen. The idea is that once this wisdom really starts to radiate, once it starts to shine, it's going to act like a beacon, pulling in the world's leaders, pulling in those brilliant managers, all of them looking for guidance.
So after all that, this huge, intricate prophecy about AI, money, and humanity's leaders, what's the actual takeaway? What are we supposed to do with this? Well, it all boils down to a really personal and pretty urgent call to action. The speaker's final message is basically a direct appeal to you, to me, to everyone. The message is, stop worrying so much about piling up money and stuff. Instead, focus on living a life that actually means something, a life where you're contributing to others. It's about cultivating that inner wisdom to become who you're meant to be, and to understand that your job is to help make things better for everyone. That inner awakening, that's what building your Jilang is all about. And that is the light. That's the shining star the world is supposedly waiting for. And that brings us to our final and maybe most challenging thought. We started with Elon Musk, and we've gone all the way to this massive prophecy. But in the end, it all comes back to a really personal question for each and every one of us. If money was off the table, if possessions didn't matter, how would you measure the value of your life? What would your Jilyang be?